amputee specialist, and today is 30 Days Live for Limb Loss Awareness Month, Day 8. So today's topic has to do with something that I see a lot in pop culture media and also just in general knowledge of the population, people who aren't aware of this particular topic, and it drives me bonkers. So when someone is using a prosthesis and they see someone walking around with a prosthesis, they look at that individual, and I've heard many people comment that they say, oh, well, that person must be walking with much easier, right? Or when you see some of these Olympic, Paralympic athletes that they're running with those really cool looking running blades, right? I hear a lot of comments along the lines of, oh, well, that person has an advantage because they're getting extra spring from their prosthesis compared to somebody running with two anatomical legs. Oh my word, it makes me cringe to hear that because it couldn't be further from the truth, okay? So here's what the deal is, guys. The higher up the level of amputation, the more energy the person has to put in to walk with their prosthesis, okay? And we've done tons and tons of studies to prove this over and over and over again. And there's many different ways of measuring energy expenditure. Probably one of the most common ways that maybe you've heard of is called VO2 max, meaning how much oxygen is consumed in proportion to how much energy and how much effort is being displaced, okay? So when they do these studies on amputees compared to runners or walkers with two anatomical legs, okay, an amputee has to put in a lot more effort, expend a lot more energy, okay? So just as a for example, come here, Bob. Someone who is a below the knee amputee. So remember from the vocabulary lesson from a couple of days ago, a below the knee or transtibial amputee has had an amputation somewhere below their knee, okay? So these folks are expending anywhere, okay, wait for it, 20 to 40% more energy to walk. Now, guys, when you look at the literature, you might see some varying percentages, but that's kind of the general consensus you're going to see. So depending on the level of amputation will determine how much more energy they're expending. But anywhere, it's a range of 20 to 40% more energy to walk, right? And those of you who took physics in high school, it's also, if you think about it, it's a simple matter of physics. The lever arm is much shorter, and the muscle length is also much shorter. So the amount of muscle fibers that they have left here, much, much less to work with compared to somebody with two anatomical legs. But let's keep moving up. What about somebody who's a transfemoral or above the knee amputee? These folks are expending 60 to 80% more energy to walk. Guys, think about it. Think about it. That's like me going and running 3 miles and having myself work at that energy level all day long just to walk. That's a lot of energy expenditure. And then when you get over into the bilaterals, folks who have had parts of both legs removed, we're talking upwards of over 100% more energy being expended. It's a lot of energy expenditure that a person places into walking with a prosthesis. And let's talk about those prosthetic blades. Yes, those are beautiful works of technology and engineering. And yes, they do have a lot of dynamic response that helps give the runner that push off, okay? But in order for that runner to activate the push off on those running blades, the runner has to be able to put the force into the blade to get the force out of the blade, okay? And it will never be as efficient as the human body. Okay, so for me, that's a really important thing to learn, because when I see these Paralympic athletes and I see some of the times that they're pulling in track and field, it's mind-blowing. And when you think about athletes in the past, the gentleman who was a bilateral below the knee amputee, Oscar Pistorius, that he was racing against men who had two anatomical legs. I mean, think about it. He was working at an energy deficit compared to them to begin with and competing at this really high level. So guys, whether the person is learning how to walk or whether they're learning how to run, they're having to expend a lot more energy into doing this, okay? So again, and then later on this month, we're gonna talk a little bit about how they learn how to walk and how they learn how to use this prosthesis. But I did wanna clarify that misconception, because that's a big one that I hear, and I always go, no, that's not the case. They really have to work hard to use these prosthetic devices. All right, guys, that is your day 8 for 30 days for Limb Loss Awareness Month. I'll see you tomorrow for day 9. Bye.